Alright, ladies and gentlemen, charging my Fogstar on the move and when I'm stood still, and charging the Dabson whilst stood still and on the move. As you know, my little gizmo up here, that is coming from the dropper to Dabson, right? That goes across and plugs in to the Dabson. So that you know, it was just an extension lead. So when I'm on the move, I had to keep plugging that one in. Then when I park up, this one goes round all the way round to the other end, to the solar panel. So I just had to keep unplugging those two and swapping them. So what I've done is I've made a little couple of short leads. I could have got them all the same length, but you know, I had to do what I had to do. But I put it on a double pole, double throw switch. Right, so when it's in the middle, it's off. When it's on the one end, it'll turn the one on or the other. So if the solar's going into that one, it'll come up and then back down that one. When it's in the middle, it's connected to neither. When it's connected to the other end, the alternator will come up that one and down that one to the Dabson. So it doesn't matter which one it is, they both end up going into the Dabson. So because it's fiddly and I'm on my bloody hands and knees, I will plug it all in and show you what I mean. Right, I've plugged it in and I can go from one or t'other. Now, I don't know which is which. That's why there's 2 notches and 1 notch on there. So now I'm going to have to work out which one's which. But at the moment, I've got the external. I've got to shuffle my bum to get out. Hang on. Right, at the moment, I've got 2 100s stood out there. It's a hazy sunshine, but according to Fogstar on my Fogstar app, I was still getting 5 amps, as daft as it sounds, off that alone. And that's 200 watts. And off the roof, I've got 320, and I'm only getting 2 amps off that, lay down, sloping away from the sun. So, I mean, the blue light's on, so it means it's in bulk. I know that Fogstar is run down because I've had the heating on all bloody morning when it connects. Yeah, altogether with these 2 panels and the one on the roof, I'm getting 7.5 amps going in, as good as 8 amps going in, plus I'm still using all this electricity, so I'm getting a lot more than that going in. So what I'll do is this lead up here, I'll bring it back down. This lead here is the one that's going round to that switch there. So I will unplug that off the Fogstar and I'll put it into the Dabson, so I can check to see whether the Dabson is charging up off this, so I know which way round my switch is. And then I know then if I flick it the other way, it's when I start the engine up, it'll start charging off the alternator instead. One moment, please. Right, I'm recording my phone screen. I've got it plugged into that system there. I'll shuffle. Hang on, I'm going to move that cable. I'll shuffle back in because I've moved the fridge into the van. I'll shuffle back in. No, I'll just prop that there. Well, I don't need to because it's going to be on the side of the screen here, isn't it? Right, I am going to flick this switch, and it should say on the app that is running on this screen whether it's come on through the solar. So that's pressing number 2 button, and it's not clicked on. So I assume, if I flick it back off, I assume that if I click it on number 1, that it clicks in. I just heard it click as well. So now it's saying I'm getting absolutely a 0, zilch. Oh, there it is. It takes a while, this thing, to click in and start working up. I did research it, and as big and as heavy as this power bank is, I'm loving it to absolute bits. It's doing what I wanted to do, but it's a 42 volt battery inside it, so that means it's only 45 amp hour, 42 amp hours. So that's at 42 volts, 44 volts. I can't remember which it was now. So it's only a 50 odd amp hour battery. Whether it's because, the 12 volts, it's being dropped down to 12 volts. I don't know whether there's power loss there or not by doing that, but I can honestly say it works. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's working. I'm liking it. It's keeping my system up and running. You could tell with that hazy sun, I'm only getting 2 watts, but it shows that it's working. But the other advantage is, at the moment on this app, if I go to output, when I turn the AC on, I've now disconnected my inverter and I've plugged it directly into the system. So now the inverter is running the whole van. So automatically, it's just, I can't squeeze around. It's automatically turned my battery charger on. And the app is showing that I'm pulling 370 watts off it, and I'm drawing in 44 watts of sun. It does it in watts. I prefer it in amps, but this app does it in watts. So it also says on there it'll last for 5 hours by trying to charge that up. Well, you saw my if I quickly drop that down, and I'll get my Fogstar back up. Searching for it, found it. Now the Dabson is putting 25 amps into my Fogstar, and it'll only take 1 hour and 23 minutes to fully charge it. 352 watts. So 348, 370. So there is a discrepancy, there is a loss. Somewhere along the line, there is that loss. So I say that by taking it from 44 volts down, dropping it through a dropper, there's got to be usage in that. There's also the inverter running, so there's another droppage in that. But as I say, this is working for me. It does what it says on the tin, and it's working. Getting 42 off the solar. That's in this dull, hazy weather, and the mains I was letting it go there. I've just turned the inverter off, which has now gone quiet in the background. So now that's as good as fully charged. It's on nearly 90%. So I'm quite happy with that. So now I know when I'm driving along, I've only got to open that door and I can flick that switch. I'll rig it up somehow. I've only just left it dangling there. So when I'm driving, the cooling fan automatically comes on through the cables that goes right through to the front. That's only to break this relay, to operate this relay. It's a 40 amp relay, and it's only charging at 20 amps. So, it works. It's doing what it says on the tin, as I said. Right, that's that bit done.